Hello, humans, and welcome to another episode of Gen X Gamer. Let me ask you, I know you do it. You put joysticks on your, you put joysticks. You do. Look, you put joysticks on your desk, yeah? I could tell by the way you walk. I'm just joking, guys. I want to talk to you about something that, my wife asked me, what are you thinking about? What are you thinking about? That's how this whole thing came up. And out of this, I'm making this video. There's a members only video that I started making this, and I completely went, I just started going on tangents, guys, and just got garbled. So I just left it. I'm just going to leave it for the members. But anyway, guys, I want to talk to you about, things that we have. We have like pet peeves, in gaming, and they're all different, right? They're all inexplainable. There's no rhyme or reason to them. It's just our preferences, right? And my preferences is not ever to modify my controllers. I don't like modifying my controllers. I don't like putting crap on them. I just don't like doing that. And it has nothing to do with retaining the value of my consoles. It doesn't. I just think that, these games were designed to play a certain way, right? And you should play them the way they were meant to. At least that's the way I want to enjoy them, right? I'm not saying everybody should do this. I'm just telling you my own idiosyncrasies that are just nuts, I guess. Is it just from being old? Back in the day, I used to make fun of my friends, that used to do, some of them used to put stickers, some of them, used to use rubber bands, all kinds of stuff, and we used to make fun of each other because of that. We use colorful language that I'm not going to use here to describe our manhood whenever we modified our controllers, like when, people put a joystick top on this. You need a joystick top? Oh, you do? It hurts your hand? It hurts your hand? Yeah, you're weak. You're weak. That's why you need a joystick. And I always see the products, guys. I always see the products. I see the ads, I see the Etsy's, and the shilling. Oh, come and buy this product, whatever. I've never been into that, As a matter of fact, I'm making a little short, guys. I'm making a little short because the one that bothered me the most, for whatever reason, guys, the one that bothered me the most was the joystick on here. I can't. When I see that picture of modified Intellivision disc, man, I just get, you know what? And there's no explanation other than an old, grungy. I'm part of the old man cringe community, right? Yeah, back in my day, we never did that. We used to do. Is that the reason? I don't know. Probably, I'm just old. But no, guys, it just provokes a reaction in me. Like, how could you do that? And some people don't like the controllers that a lot of the consoles come with. I'll give an example. A lot of people hate the controller for the ColecoVision. I love it. I love that controller. Why? I don't know. Is it great? Not really. Probably because I just got used to it from playing it so much. I would break them sometimes. But I like that controller. And a lot of people, right? A lot of people change them. A lot of people buy stuff. And guys, you can buy another controller. Like, I'm not opposed to that. Like, I would buy another controller, right? If I wanted to try it on. I would buy a separate controller that had separate controls, but just the act, right? So that's really what I'm talking about, the act of just putting stuff on your controllers to make, to make the game experience better, ruins the game for me, ruins the experience, because I want to experience the games the way they were meant to be played by the original designers. And I'll give you an example. Let's say you're playing with a friend, and the friend has a joystick, or he's modified it to, whatever, in whatever controller, right? And you guys are competing for high scores, and you beat him because yours is quote unquote easier because, you're just feminine like that. I'm just kidding. But you have an advantage, right? You have an advantage over your friend. So, does that high score count? I would say no. I would say, that's a form of performance enhancement. So, no, you want to call me a purist? Okay, sure. I'll go with that. But I don't mind, buying a separate controller, but just the act of modifying it changes the experience. Look, imagine not playing the Xbox with the original big Duke. I think I have the Duke and the Duchess, but I think this is the Duke. I'm pretty sure this is the Duke. Yeah, it's the Duke. I have a Duchess over there. Regardless, guys, it changes the experience, right? I when my friends come over and can I play the Xbox? And I give them this, they're like, yeah, I remember, like I remember. They eventually they'll ask for the little one if they're gonna play for a long time, But at first, just seeing a big, just seeing this big monster right there, like, oh my God, it's so big. Yeah, and then when I pull out the Coleco ones, and I have to do a video on that. I have to go out and pull out the Coleco, but it's in storage right now, guys. The joysticks and the wheel and everything. I need to pull them out, and I'm gonna make a separate episode on that. But yeah, when you start changing controllers, it changes the experience, and it's not the same experience that the developers or the designers or the makers of the games wanted you to have. But for me, more importantly, is that my friends come in here and they look at this stuff and they look at it exactly the way it was back then, right? The only thing that's changed now is that I changed my Atari for this one for the holidays, and they've loved it. They loved it because it's Pac-Man, and they love the game selection that I have here. The high score collection specifically I bought because those were the games that we were playing back in the day with my friends. We were playing in the arcade. Now they don't look exactly the same, of course, because there's 7800 versions. But we were playing Xevious, we were playing Dig Dug, and we were playing Galaga, and of course Pac-Man. So it's just like we sit down and we do that, and it's good family entertainment, good family fun, and we have a great time just reminiscing, talking about the old stuff that we talk about here on the channel sometimes. But it all has to do with that original experience. And for me, guys, nobody's ever going to convince me that, messing around with your controllers is the same thing. It changes the experience. And, to each his own. I'm not saying that, I shouldn't do it, whatever. I'm just telling you my craziness, right? My preference, the way my mind works. And, I make these videos because I don't have anybody else to talk about it. My friends don't game anymore. They'll come in here, they'll play here, and they'll play in the arcade, but they don't game. They don't have any video games at home whatsoever. Guys, these guys don't even have social media. They have like Facebook pages that they never access. My friends never got into social media. The most technology they ever do is their computers at work in the arcade. That's it. So really, with my peers, with my friends, other than you guys out here, I don't talk about this stuff. So this channel makes it a great outlet. And right now in the holidays that everybody's taking time off and not a lot of people making videos nowadays, it's, I like to bring this stuff up, because why not? It's a good topic of conversation, and we all have different opinions, and that's okay. And, this is just my opinion. It doesn't mean I'm right. I'm just telling you the way I feel, guys. When I see a joystick put on this disc, I lose my shit. I really do. In my mind, right? Like, I don't see it, but I just just get a terrible feeling. And that's the way it's always been. All right, humans, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for subscribing. Remember, never, ever be afraid to be happy. And if you're really cool, join the club for 99 cents. Catch you on the next one. Take care.